Goof News was relatively quiet yesterday, and for very good reason. They were just kind of marshaling all their forces, getting ready, and they were fucking coiling back for that straight punch to your face, and now all of a sudden they're coming back again, and guess what? They're going to be coming back every 8 months. Until that 8 months gets dropped down to 6 months. And then that 6 months will be every quarter. And then you guys already know what the slippery slope is. They won't be happy until you're just wandering out of the pharmacy with a fucking slight droop in your walk and you just got fucking needles falling out of your arms. And that's why there's so many lines on your vaccine passports. Whoops, said the quiet part out loud. Biden administration will advise most Americans, remember when it was just a couple days ago, oh, it's just the immunocompromised and then the high-risk individuals who should probably consider getting the booster. No, it's everybody now. Just get the booster. Every 8 months, though. Don't worry about that. And then they'll revise that in a couple of days or a couple of weeks or hell by the fall. All of this stuff is going to come to a head at the fall. So fucking brace yourselves, or you know what, just start rolling up your arms, or you know what, just if you have a whole bunch of t-shirts in your closet, just start fucking cutting off at the sleeves, and then you just save your pharmacist the time and trouble if you're just gonna be fucking lining up for these never-ending fucking procession of needles. If you enjoyed your first 2 doses of the coronavirus vaccine, then today is your lucky day, because President Joe Biden will soon, not him, he's busy right now, he's probably putting on his fucking water wings and going out for a skinny dip. He's been known to do that. And now he's so old, it's not a choice. It's just more or less an inevitability as he forgets where he put his pants. But he'd be soon recommending that most Americans get themselves a coronavirus booster jab within 8 months of being vaccinated. But I thought it was so effective and the only way that we can fight this disease. Oh, it's not about the disease, and it hasn't been for over 1.5 years now, you're saying? Thanks, Lassie. According to the New York Times, 2 administration officials confirmed the Biden administration will be pushing for Americans to have follow-up shots as early as mid-September. Just to coincide with all the other vaccine passport shit that we're seeing going around right now. Cool, that'll be fucking great, so expect that in the next couple of days. And yeah, it looks like if you had the little religious exemption, or, you know, oh, I have these already pre-existing conditions, it don't matter. It don't matter. That was one of the basis of one of the lawsuits from Indiana University that Amy Coney Barrett looked at and was like, I'm too smart for this, and just fucking walked away, that cunt. But now you got Washington State University. Oh, it's just Washington State. All of this fucking insanity, just like before. It's just going to stay on college campuses. It's just going to stay in the Pacific Northwest, right? Washington State University to end personal and philosophical exemptions for COVID-19 vaccines. Show your papers. Show the needle mark in your arm. Roll it. Roll up your sleeves. We need to see it. Okay, do you still have the bandage on? Take the bandage off. We need to see the injection point. Otherwise, we don't believe you. Same crowd that is my body, my choice. Now it's you put your body down there and you don't have a choice. Washington University, or State University, sorry. I wouldn't want to besmirch the good name of Washington University. Said it will no longer accept students from its COVID-19 vaccination mandate for personal or philosophical reasons, citing the increasing threat to the Delta variant. They could just probably put a big underscore under Delta, and it's like fill in where appropriate, because once it stops being Delta, it'll be whatever it is, Lambda or something? Lambda, Epsilon, Beta Salon, Hair Salon, who fucking cares? For those who are unvaccinated, cool. In an announcement released on August 12th, the university officials said that the change will be taking place as soon as the FDA grants full approval to any of the 3 vaccines authorized for emergency use. Yep. But they already have for boosters for immunocompromised individuals, so you know it's already coming down. And Fauci's been talking about it. There was some simp in my fucking comment sections. I forget what video it was. He was still trying to simp for Fauci. Can you guys fucking believe that? Oh, you poor spring summer child. I don't know what to tell you. If I was that brain dead, I bet you the world would be such a beautiful place, and it'd probably be even better because I'd probably be recording this video with a mask on my face, and then my glasses would just be fogged up all the time, so I wouldn't be able to see anybody out there, so everything would just look bright and sunny and cheery. Fuck off. Currently, no coronavirus vaccine is fully approved by the FDA, but vaccines from Pfizer, BioNTech, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, if you survive to get the booster, are being administered across the nation under emergency youth authorization by federal agencies. University, whose campus in Pullman serves about 31,000 students, also said that it would be accelerating the deadline for students to comply. Cool. With the vaccination requirements from November to September 10th. That's a big fucking jump. The fall term begins, next week. Once the personal exemption is formally removed from the university vaccination policy, students will have up to 45 days to initiate the vaccination process by getting at least one dose of the approved vaccine or request a new religious or medical exemption. I thought you were getting rid of those, so no more choice, just show your papers. Just like, we'll take a slight detour for a second to go up to Chicago. Announces indoor mask mandate for everyone, including vaccinated, because they follow the science there. Let's see what the little tyrant that could has been up to lately. It's been a minute since we talked about Chicago. I don't know. It's going to be between Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. Maybe San Francisco. Okay, just put those four into a fucking hat and just, shake it around and then just pull out a name, whichever city's going to be locking down first. I think it'll probably be New York, but we'll get to them shortly. Anyways, city of Chicago is mandating an indoor mask mandate for everyone above 2. Ugh, just ruining kids' lives. It's just, I could keep going over my reasons why, but and you're just programming these kids to be subservient to whatever Big Daddy government wants. That's just the basis of everything. According to NBC Chicago, all residents, regardless of their vaccination status, will have to wear masks indoors, even in their house. Cool, because there's been, who was that, NIH director? Who said the parents should be wearing it around their kids, but no, I was just kidding. It's just in public, not in your homes, not yet. With the highly transmissible Delta variant, you keep saying that, but you can't prove it. Causing case rates to increase. Now is the time to reinstitute the measure to prevent further spread and save lives, because it worked so well the first time, said CDPH Commissioner Dr. Allison Ardaway in a statement on Tuesday. We continue to track the data closely. Really? Can you show us which data you're tracking? No? Okay. And are hopeful this will be only temporary. That's why you gave an end date to it, right? Similar to previous mask mandates, masks can be removed at restaurants, bars, and other eating-drinking establishments because the virus has good manners, and it will just wait until you're done finishing your fucking meal, apparently. By patrons who are actively eating and drinking. Cool. Masks can also be removed in certain activities, like kissing the ass of the mayor and thanking her for keeping you safe these past 18 months, and for the never-ending and repeating lockdowns and mandates that require their removal, such as beard shaves or facials. Interesting. Obligatory cum shot joke. She added the mask can be removed by employees in settings that are not open to the public, or if employees are static and maintaining at least 6 feet from all other individuals, like in office cubicles. Until it's not, because that's how all this shit always fucking goes. But now we've got sports. Yes, just a slight detour today, and I would have loved to do some more sports coverage because there's a bunch of insane shit, but this is how I can work it in today, because we got to talk about Canada's snap election in the third video. But the Raiders, the fucking Raiders of all franchises in the NFL, the dirtiest fucking team throughout history, the team that celebrates those teams from the fucking 70s that were out there paralyzing motherfuckers. They're gonna have you show your papers or get jabbed at the door. That's how far they're taking it. These are the fucking Raiders. Those were the crowds that not only intimidated the opposing team coming into the old Oakland Coliseum. I understand that they've moved to Nevada now, and they moved to Los Angeles. Sin City, where what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for your vaccine papers. Make sure you bring them and show them all the fucking time. But the team, their logo is based on a fucking pirate. And pirates are normally known for following the rules, right? Unfucking believe. This is so stupid and such a betrayal of anything masculine that the Raiders football team could have possibly stood for at this point. Al Davis is probably turning over in his grave and also still making their draft choices because fucking Christ, guys. The Las Vegas Raiders are now requiring all spectators at home games in the upcoming NFL season to show proof of vaccination documentation or get inoculated against the China virus at Allegiant Stadium prior to home games. So nice that they'll just have, just doses of the jab waiting and available for you. The announcement came after Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak, to his friends, a Democrat, you don't say, said on Monday that large events in the state will require people to show they have vaccinated against the China virus. All fans who are able to provide the documentation through the Clear mobile app that's not tracking you at all times, of course not, are cleared to enter the stadium and don't have to wear a mask, the team announced in a statement. Fans who are not vaccinated can get the jab on site before entering the building, but have to watch the game while wearing face coverings, they added. Why would you even fucking bother? I've been doing a bunch of dumb shit too, and I don't have this pulled up, but you know, they used to have the black hole in Oakland Coliseum, right? Where they have all the fucking Road Warriors gear and all those face painted assholes that would just show up and it would kind of look like a Kiss concert meets a fucking old 1980s NWA show. It was pretty fucking cool, if I'm being completely honest, because I'm kind of a dork, but at the same time, now they have DJs in the end zone. It's like they're setting up a little club inside the stadium because, you know, watching the football game is no longer as entertaining as just going down there and being in the club. It's so fucking dumb, and it's such a betrayal of, you know, like a really great game. They don't care about that. It's all about appealing to these fucking midwit morons who are out there with more money than IQ points. The people who, you know, you've been trying to pander to for the past decade who just don't like football, but you think you can get them in for the experience. Fuck off. That's not the worst place, because now we got to go to New York City, and oh boy, now they're just going to start finding you. You know, their passport system isn't quite fully implemented yet, except for everywhere that's turning people away. And now, New York City to impose up to $2,000 fines for businesses for serving unvaccinated people. So, okay, it's still a choice, remember, for you to get the vaccine, right? But now they're just, you know, running their propaganda ads. Like this one. Some of the pictures look familiar. Get the fucking vaccine. These are legitimate pictures and legitimate posters that are up there. They got the CDC badge on them. They're right underneath a subway station stop. Get the fucking vaccine out there in public, but it's still a choice and all. Wear a fucking mask, okay? Because it's like that old saying goes, you attract more bees with vinegar than you do with honey, right? I think that's how it goes. No, of course not. It's exactly the opposite, duh. But if all this stuff is supposed to be, you know what, we need to protect those who are not vaccinated, okay? If you can get the vaccine, go out there and get the vaccine. You're supposed to be protecting the children with this one, but then at the same time, out there in public, you're putting fucking vaccine, fucking mask, you're putting that out there in public. They're so dim. Businesses that fail to comply with New York City's mandate requiring them to discriminate against unvaccinated individuals by denying entry will face up to $2,000 in fines. Mayor Bill de Blasio, who's thankfully out the fucking door. Let's see if Eric Adams can do a better job. Mayor Bill de Blasio announced the key to NYC pass this month, bragging about cutting off Americans from everyday activities. He's just loving the fact that real estate prices are plummeting, and then he continues to just buy up blocks of houses, and then, you know, once the new guy comes in and he lifts all these restrictions, he'll be able to just rent them out to the people who, you know, used to live in those places and just charge them astronomical rent. He's been doing that. He's been allowing his friends to do that as well. You know, the ones that he'd rail against in public, but then behind the scenes, you know, took all the money from. Just like a good socialist would. We need these strong, clear mandates. Why? de Blasio said, describing New York City as a miraculous place literally full of wonders. You have to wonder why anybody still miraculously can live there. Only available to the vaccinated. If you are vaccinated, all of that's going to open up for you. Bragging about how he has stripped you of your God-given rights and freedoms. Saying that if you would just fucking put this in your arm, all of it can be available to you. Well, that's not how this shit works. It's not how it should work, and a bunch of people have left because of it, and now you just sit on your fucking pile of shit. But hey, it's alright. I'm sure you probably already have your booster appointment already booked, you fucking cuck. You'll have the key. You can open the door. If you're unvaccinated, unfortunately, you will not be able to participate in society. Well, he says in many things, but let's be honest. He said, adding that it's time for people to see vaccination as literally necessary. Literally necessary. It's literally speaking. How many times did he say like? To living a good and healthy and full life. Sure, pal. Oh, there are some stories I'd love to tell you, but I can't because I can't verify them. But what's going on with this key to New York, whatever fucking faggoty shit that he wants to put out there? The key to New York City unlocks empty places that will not be staffed by anybody because everybody's fled the city already. No, your indoor entertainment you can now go to if you just get the jab and then you re-up your jab, because otherwise you'll lose your keys, not just in between the couch cushions. No, the government will come and make sure that you get that jab because they already have your name and number, but there's no database, right? No, they'll just use the app and they'll just come and track you down. Anyways, indoor entertainment. Yeah, movie theaters, live music, concert venues, museums and galleries, aquariums, stadiums, exhibition halls, arcades, casinos, and adult entertainment. You can go get your whores as long as you're both vaccinated, not from the HIV. Indoor dining, you can go to restaurants, cabarets, bakeries, coffee shops. You can partake in some of New York City's finest dick-shaped cuisine. Indoor fitness, yes, you know, that thing that's probably the most beneficial thing you can do in order to prevent really terrible side effects to the coof itself. Yeah, once you get vaccinated and all that stuff, then you can go back to the gym. You should be shot out of a cannon towards the sun. Fuck you. And now we're going to go across the ocean to those, you know, those island nations that continued to beat the fucking virus over and over and over again. They did such a good goddamn job that now they've got a lockdown again for at least a week at this point. Yes, in New Zealand, a wonderful nation led by just a stunningly beautiful gnome and just the most repugnant cunt I've ever seen in my entire life. No more charade, no more jokes. She is the worst dictator, okay? She got a phone call from Gretchen Whitmer telling her to slow down. New Zealand are thrown into a national lockdown over one assumed Delta case. Is there a case? Don't know. Is it the Delta variant? Can't verify that because there's no test for the Delta variant. All you have to do is just kind of think about it. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern put the country into national lockdown after authorities detected a single case of the China virus, likely the Delta variant in the city of Auckland. Okay, the entire nation, okay, at least Australia, okay, who we're going to get to very shortly, they would lock down states. I'm not saying that's any better. I'm saying it's equally as tyrannical. But this bitch is locking down the entire fucking country that is made up of several islands. She's drunk on power. And I know she's probably still breastfeeding and she probably shouldn't be drinking, but who knows the damage she's already done to her kids anyways. What's a little fucking nip now and then? But yeah, we'll go into alert level 4 for at least 3 days. I'll be taking bets on 3 days from now if they're going to be coming out of lockdown or not. Starting at midnight on August 17th, yeah, they should already be in lockdown. You know, time zones and shit. The Ministry of Health announced the regions of Auckland, the city's largest country, and Coromandel will be under strict rules for 7 days. Cool. The best thing we can do to get out of this as quickly as we can is to go hard. No, it wouldn't. It would be for you to step down. Now you can really get over all of this fucking pain and suffering for the 5 million other people that are there that think that this is absolutely fucking nuts. We have made the decision on a basis that it is better to start high and go down levels rather than to go low, not to contain the virus and see it move quickly. You've done this shit over and over and over again and it hasn't worked. So what is your solution? Do it one more time. Maybe it'll work for the 5th time. You're so smart. To be fair though, she is as smart as she is beautiful. How about Australia? If you thought that the fines for New York City were a little bit steep, and I know I can't understate the fact that $2,000 for just serving unvaccinated people at your, restaurant that kind of thrives on customers, if that doesn't seem just a little bit strange, let's take a look at Australia. There's a video that's circulating around right now that shows a chief of police or just some officer out there just lauding over the population that they just need to stay home and that they ticketed somebody who was just out for a drive, didn't see anybody, just needed to get some fresh air because he was tired of being cooped up in his fucking house and having it patrolled by unarmed military. Well, it looks like they're going to be ramping that shit up, and now they have, at least today, or what would have been yesterday, because I think it's nighttime over there in Australia because, once again, time zones, 158 citations for people who are just out and about, not respecting the tyrannical, the draconian lockdown measures, because just like New Zealand, large swaths of Australia have been under lock and key. And now their fines are increasing because, morale is too high. Australia will increase fines to people breaching lockdown rules in the state of New South Wales as it battles a record jump in local COVID-19 infections, and Sydney, the state capital, heads into its 8th week of lockdown. Oh my god. You get it yet? They took away the guns a long time ago. Now they're forcing people to stay in their houses, and they're telling them when they're allowed to leave. They've taken away the guns in literally every other country except for the United States around the world. And what do they do after that? Well, they institute these ridiculous lockdown procedures. I'm not saying that's going to be happening everywhere, but I'm saying it's going to be happening everywhere. Locally transmitted infections jumped by 466 over the previous 24 hours in the country's most populous state. The police will fine people up to 5,000 Australian dollars. That is $3,700 American. On the spot for breaching stay-at-home orders or for lying to contract tracing officials. What are you going to do? What are you going to do if somebody doesn't want to pay that fine? What if you do if an entire neighborhood doesn't want to pay attention to that fine? What are you going to do if an entire city doesn't want to pay attention to that fine? Maybe after 18 months, people have fucking had enough. You'd think, you'd hope, but they've also gone along with it, well, at least in this one, for 8 weeks. As the situation escalates, it is becoming increasingly unlikely Sydney will end its 9-week lockdown on August 28th, as originally planned. Great, because it's working so well, you should just continue to extend it. Great. That's smart. Authorities had been talking about easing some restrictions if enough people were vaccinated and case numbers fall. Yeah, we talked about that last time that was out there. They're aiming for something just astronomically impossible to get, like 90 or fucking 125%. Obviously, that's not possible, but yeah, boosters and shit. No, anyways, and Australia and New Zealand both seem to be on the same page when it comes to this one. They're trying to, go with a strategy where there's 0 cases whatsoever. They are effectively trying to eliminate the virus. That just doesn't happen, okay? What they're trying to do, they're trying to fight the common cold by locking everybody down. And if anybody could solve something that is transmitted like this in the past, if it was something that could be done, it would have already been done, okay? It wouldn't have left China. Unless there's, some other theories that are floating about that maybe it didn't just leave China, but I can just leave it at that. But the most authoritarian dictatorship, at least at the time, allowed something this deadly and this scary and this severe to leave its shores. Wouldn't you think that they would have been the ones who would have figured out how to get rid of it? Wouldn't you think they would have just figured out that you just need to put 2 in the back of the head of the guy with the runny nose? So trying to aim for 0 infections for... The last time we talked about New Zealand, Arden was looking at no cases for 6 months, and then we can open up the country. It's just never going to fucking happen. This shit is seasonal. We've seen it. Spikes happen in the fall. Spikes happen again in the winter. It's fucking low tide during the summer. Oh, but my Delta variant. Oh, but my new variants. We already tried lockdowns. They don't work. So guess what? We're just going to lock down harder, and we're just going to charge people because $1,000 wasn't enough. Some breaches of public health orders in the state previously carried a fine of $1,000. So now we're going to put it to $5,000. The people that you've locked down, not allowed to work for 8 weeks at this point. And then even before that, much longer as well. The people who don't have $5,000 to just fucking shell out for just going outside and seeing what the sky looks like. You think they're going to be paying $5,000? Nah. That's what I'm saying. You just need to get a big enough force together, and that's why this is coming directly from the government of Australia, province of Victoria, and the concentration camps are coming. Yeah, I'm not being hyperbolic. You can sign up for it now. I wouldn't encourage it, because then they'll have your information. Project summary. With quarantine continuing to be a critical part of the Australian response to COVID-19 pandemic, the Victorian and Australian governments have committed to building a purpose-built quarantine accommodation hub outside Melbourne's CBD to combat and protect the community from highly infectious COVID-19 virus. The commitment followed the development of the business case by the Victorian government, which was submitted to the Australian government for approval. The project summary is this business case can be found here. The business case identified a preferential site at Donnybrook Road, Mickleham, a site that is the existing animal quarantine facility. Repurposing animal cages for quarantine facility. I don't have jokes for this. You can't make this shit up. Somebody slipped Scott Morrison a fucking copy of Mein Kampf, and he's like, yeah, you know what? That guy really had some good ideas. On the 24th of June 2021, the Australian government confirmed that this will be the site of the new facility. So, just as that lockdown was beginning, which was originally sold as being a week, but ha 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 ha, lol, they already had this detention facility in mind. None of this is by accident. None of this has anything to do with the virus. The quarantine is an important feature of our public health response. Is it working though? Is it? And this new purpose-built hub is a nice way to call it. Does it have train tracks that go directly to the cages? Because that, just for nostalgia's sake, I think that'd be a really nice little accoutrement you can provide. Will be designed and built with the primary purpose of ensuring the safety of our community. Again, once again, it's all put forward as a safety to you, but that's not what governments are supposed to do. They're supposed to protect your freedoms, they're supposed to protect your liberties, and they're supposed to stay off your human rights. But again, like that old saying goes, most people don't want freedom. Most people don't want freedom. They just want safety. They just want security. They'll just be the ones who, oh, it doesn't affect me right now. I got my jab and everything's going to be fine. Okay, I won't have to get put into one of the camps because I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to get the boost all the time. And then the next one will come around. And then the next one will come around. Then it'll be one of your friends who gets pulled aside and thrown into the camps. Oh, but then, you know what? It's not you. And then it's somebody in your family. And then guess what? There's nobody else standing around who could run afoul of any of the new procedures and policies that get put into place by your beloved government, the one that's there to keep you safe and make sure that you're reaffirmed and that no scary virus, no runny nose is going to come and affect you whatsoever. Eventually, you'll run afoul of it, or you'll wake up. I hope it's not too late, but god damn it, there are so many fucking normies out there that just don't give a shit, and they just want to keep their head down, and they just want to, well, be safe, and they don't want to be free. Just like how I'm critical of all these opposition parties who have allowed this fucking crazy shit to happen. You gotta start taking a look at those normies that are out there, guys, and you got to inspire them. You got to figure out a way to mobilize them. I'm not going to be so stupid as to say, you know what, we need to start looking at those and we need to start blaming them. That's fucking retarded, okay? Plain and simple. I'm not blaming anybody else for the situation we find ourselves in. I'm blaming, and I'm saying that we need to course correct on this one. We need to start take that silent majority and remove the descriptor, because the people who think that all of this shit, once they have the information put out to them, because this is just hidden deep within the fucking indices of Australian government websites, but they're just laying out there for you. Once they get this information, they tend to think that it's fucking stupid too. They just don't know. They just don't know. People live lives. They don't properly manage their time, and they don't know everything that's so important to them. There's people who just want to disengage from the system. Politics. It's just too much for me. I'm just going to live my life. I just, as long as I come home and I got a nice hot plate of food and I got a cup of coffee first thing in the morning, I'm going to be able to live my life. Yeah, well, guess what? If you want to disengage from the system ain't going to fucking disengage from you. So it's time to start using the apparatus that led us to this situation. And you got to fight back, and you got to fucking figure out how the hell we're going to get out of this goddamn shit. So Canada's got a big election coming up, and we got to do a little bit of a primer on there, because what I'm seeing from the parties on top, ugh. It makes me fucking physically ill. So let's dive dick first into that now, shall we? Thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Catch y'all later.